Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Thursday, November 13th, 2025. We're going to zoom through a lot of things here. Okay, tons of information. I won't be able to get through it all, but we got our turn here, and we're going to be at this bull-bear battle really soon. So obviously, price can go ahead and fade and close the gap here. Can continue lower. We're going to be in what I think is a impulsive, the strongest wave C or 3 of this move, and I want you guys to be ready for it. So we'll look at all of the indices and just kind of look at their moving average, the moving averages, and then we'll take a look at a couple of these indicators. I don't want to spend too much time there because we have to look at the 65 and kind of give this game plan what we're looking for next. Okay. All right, so QQQ just closed its island gap just now. That's what that alert was. So we have SPX on the daily time frame. By the way, we're doing this intraday about noon Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. It's 99 cents, comes with the Discord, Cheddar Flow, lots of wonderful traders in there. We had some zero date trades today from one of our fabulous new traders that's in there. So just, again, this isn't about me in these videos. It's about the community in the Discord. So come join us. All right. We have SPX on the daily time frame. Clearly a large candle, getting rid of all 3 of these trading days. We're in the gap so far, but I'm not sure that we're going to actually move from this area. I do think we should get a bounce. I'm not looking for the lows to be taking out by tomorrow. I'm looking for next week just because of the options expected moves, and those are so important. I give those out each and every week. All right, so bearish engulfing, if you would, here. And then if we move on, we're looking at the trend. We're fighting with that right now, so we might get some sort of doji candle or so. We'll see. Price, again, could continue lower. We're not playing around with we have put swings. We added on a little bit of call hedges here just in case we get a little bounce. Then you can turn around and bring those calls into bigger puts. I like to do that. So, all right. And McClellan oscillator starting to turn around, getting a little weak here. And like I said, I'm going to run through these super quick because there's no real setup on them yet. We have a 4 count on DMARC. We're looking for a 9 count to the downside. And then nothing else. The Bollinger Band, you saw that 20 moving average. And here we go. So here's the crossover that we're getting with this big rip your face off rally. It brought the slow stochastic all the way up to the other end. And we're looking for that same action to the downside now. We're just about at a sell signal here. And then we pushed off of that leader line, the MACD line. So the leader line is going to continue to move lower at this point. We rejected off of that line there. So that's a good way to look at it. Now with the individual names, actually, let me pull up the traditional look here. And I think SPY is going to get, so here's also a good reason. We're back at that range there, which is support. So let's see what happens there. I may have moved my SPY channel already, and I left it the same on my other charts in the lower time frames, and you'll see what I mean. But here's what I'm looking for going into tomorrow. If this truly is, this is one way to draw the channel here. We can look for, and you see this downtrend line I drew now. I'm looking for some sort of equilibrium going into Friday and Monday, perhaps, and then to break down from there. So that would create a nesting. This would be our 1-2-1-2 setup. But at the same time, there's another way I'm counting this as well. So it's super important. Here's the cues. There's the channel on the cues, breaking back down. I know that's been changed. I know a lot of people have the channel at these lows here, and that would be just about where we're at right now. With the moving averages, you see, this is the important part that I wanted to show is the moving averages. I don't really need to bring the traditional look here. We're pushing and rejecting off of that 8 EMA after the gap down, and we're underneath the 20. So this is bearish. The momentum's down. The trend is down until price can fight back up there. And there's a bullish setup here, and this is why there's going to be a battle. IWM clearly bearish, broke down from the 28 and the 50 moving average. SMH 820. The only thing that really is holding up is no longer SPY because it's underneath, but DIA was the only thing that was really holding up there. But again, there's a divergent high here. We're in historic highs. We're rejecting a fake break, throw over, whatever you want to call it, off of the 2007 trend line there. And let's go to VIX. And VIX was holding up perfectly well with this 50 moving average. And here was that resistance and the 200 moving average that we keep talking about. We're talking about this all day in the Discord. If we get up to this point, this could be a rejection from here and for this week, right? And then we get a new candle, maybe an inside candle, and then Monday continuation higher. But this is looking really, really good. If it gets over this 200 and stays over, then clearly price action's going lower today. Let's go over to SPY. And here's what I want to show you on the, let's move the board over to the traditional look. Did we move? Okay, so we didn't move this yet. This was the channel bottom, original bottom that worked really well early on. And so it has all of these lows in it. And so we're back at that channel bottom. So I thought, hey, okay, with this, and we're at the 200 with the VIX, which usually doesn't go through the first time. And our setup here for the bulls would be left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And I'll show you on the cues how that might look as well. And notice I added in the bigger wedge. And notice it's from these lows, the original wedge that I had drawn here. And here's a throw fake break, a bear trap that brought us that rip your face off rally. This is giving us a real big story that this was the B wave. This was a fake, this was an expanded flat here. All right. And that's why we had this impulse wave higher, which that's what's going to give us the argument for the bulls. This is a impulse wave from a low, and then you have a 1-2 setup. Okay, so that's how the bulls are looking at it. The bears are looking at it like this. So here's our, so again, changing boards here. If you notice this original wedge that we have drawn, you have two touches here, touch there, and then 3 here. We're back testing that. So again, that's going to be the bullish look at it. All right. Now I'm not in that camp again. I'm looking at this, and I think this is going to come into play later when you have a wave 2. All right. And so the yellow count is my favored count at this point. And this is also another way you can draw it, because wave 2 into wave 4, that might be your real wedge there. And it could be from the top here, and it could be from these touches here. So we'll keep this in the as is right here for later reference. And that's going to match up pretty much with the same if you draw the downtrend here as well. So but I want to, when you're mapping things out, a traditional technical analysis, your wave 1 and 3 can give you the end of wave 5. So that's why this is important. So if this is a yellow 1, 2, you have wave 3, and then you have a expanded flat for an A, B, C, rip your face off rally, and wave 4, and then you have a large wave 5, because this is an expanding move, and it could be into the wedge bottom. Now that's really sharp there. It looks like it has to come straight down, but I'll make sure it's proper later on. I just drew it really quick, so I want to make sure it touches all of those lows, and then we can go from there. Okay, but that should come into play, and then that lines up really well with this possible head and shoulder here, and then you have your 162 extension from that possible wave 3 into 2. All right, and that extension brings you to that 150. Again, that could be a 1-2 setup for wave 3, but we're going to look for a wave 5. We're going to look for a low here. And if we get a bounce and it fails, then clearly we're into a regular impulse instead of a expanding move here. So if we do get our lows around 650, it's a zone. So price likes to get scary and push through. So we could make it all the way down to 644 and it still be the same trade. And then we can look for a possible wave 2, nice deep retracement after that. Okay, and we have cycles as well, and we talk about those in members videos. So if you're interested in the individual analysis, we have those cycles, and we talk about them in the Discord as well, even if you don't want to be part of that membership there. Okay, so anything, we're just trying to help, but at the same time, this takes up a lot of time, and we're looking for support here. So here's another clue here. I was just noticing that we're at 10% on the VIX, so we could get that bounce. Just that brings our probability up that we'll get our bounce into tomorrow. Like I said, let's go back here to the traditional look here. Like I said, the options expected moves, sure, we can break down tomorrow. It's very possible, but what I would guess is that we get a bounce. If we get a bounce by the end of the day, then I would suspect that we get another move to the downside Friday. But if we get our bounce tomorrow and just kind of hang around here for a while, then we could see an inside day, inside week, and we get that nice continuation going into next week. Okay. All right. And our hedges, if you're curious, our hedges are up to this resistance that acted as a clear resistance and support. It's about 580, 579. That was also a spot where billions of dollars in dark pools were at, and price told us that this was important by gapping underneath it and holding. All right. So any bounce here, we're looking at stack up our puts once again on this possible 1-2 setup on the lower time frames. And then with that, we'll have more accurate extensions from a 1, 2 to a wave 3, 4, and 5 for this possible 5th wave going lower to the 650 area. Okay. So that confluence was there. And then on QQQ, there's that original. Here's a channel that I drew here. I don't know if that was the original one or not. I don't remember. So that lined up with that 200 moving average. It also closed the gap here. We had the gap close. It was actually an island gap, okay? This was by itself. We had a gap down and a gap back over it, and we just closed that today. So that's a good spot to bounce at. You could argue this, I can move the channel around, so that would be the channel low. What else? So that's where QQQ was setting up. And here's your, see where I have the channel now, just to make sure the bottoms were all lined up. I don't like this. I think we're pretty much done with this channel anyway. Don't really like how that's playing out. So here's what bulls are going to be looking at. That right shoulder looks a little lopsided now, but here's your left shoulder. There's your neckline. And your right shoulder here for inverse head and shoulder. That's what the argument will be. It was also breakout back test. And then what we'll do, if price goes a little bit lower to get to this channel low here, then that will probably mean that SPY is closing the gap. And I don't hate that. I think we'd add a little bit more call hedging at that point. That way, we have plenty of time left in the day, so maybe this is just a little bounce here, and then we head a little bit lower, okay? That would be even more ideal for us because we'd probably see a low here, and then going into Friday, you can have your free Friday and bounce, and then you get the continuation next week. And what we'll do is we'll end up drawing it could be here right now. This is not a valid trend line, but this is a guesstimate. This is valid up top here, and I think that will create an equilibrium going into next week, and in my opinion, a bear flag. All right, so we'll look to see what price does moves further, wonderful. Bounces from here, great. We know exactly what we're looking for at this point. And anything else? I want to show you some of those. I want to get this out to you. So let me show you some of the things here. The trend is lower right now. So again, we can bounce up to here and likely fail at this point. The moving averages, now that we have our initial wave here and we're looking for a more impulsive, bigger wave, we shouldn't have too many, you see how this goes, we shouldn't have too many bars on top of this moving average. So we're back underneath it, we got above it, we're back underneath it. Now we should reject it from that point. All right, and looking at the MACD, this setup here, and we are pretty darn oversold. It could definitely get more oversold. Again, I would love to see that gap close, but you see where we're at. We're already holding that 200 average or holding that channel bottom. Maybe we get a little bounce here and then we can see price head lower. The slow stochastic is heading lower. Does this start to oscillate higher with just a little bit of a bounce? We shall see. And MACD crossing over, but still we're kind of at that support area of the 0 line. All right, so that could, you could argue that could move higher now. Okay, but you could also argue that this just continues lower and we're just back testing that MACD line. DMARC, so 3 count to the downside, no setup here. Money flow, distribution. Bollinger Band, we have a buy signal, so we're oversold here. We're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. We have the other confluence happening. That's just a good buy signal. So that's a buy for our hedges. That's essentially what we're doing. And again, there's a 20 over there. This would be a nice spot to see price go back to the 680, and then this in the lower time frame would be a 1-2 setup. I do think that that was a 5-wave move to the downside. It doesn't have to be, but here's your 1, 2, possibly 3, 4, and 5. All right, or this could have been a 1, 2, and that's a 1, 2. That's a higher low. So that's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So yeah, the low looks like it's in. We have a lot of confluence there. It's looking good. I don't usually go down to those levels, but I showed you the game plan. I think that should be good, you guys. VIX rejecting off of that 200 moving average. Close the gap. Let's see if maybe we get another gap close before, or hold the gap. So either one of those. This trend line did end up holding, so now it's a valid trend line. We have those 2 points there, and it held on to this point and tested there, and we got our lift off. So look for a retracement here, and then forming more market structure with a higher low, and then off to the races. All right, thanks you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.